And alongside me is Renee Stubbs. Renee, how do you see this one going?
Well, I see mostly dominated by, I think it should be dominated by Steffi if she stays aggressive and steps in and really takes advantage of Sabatini's short serves and, you know, serves well herself. I think this could be an easy match for Steffi, but on the other hand, Gabby is a true fighter, and she's given Steffi some really tough matches in the past and beaten her several times, so this could be interesting.
Yeah, she's beaten her 11 times out of 38. Phenomenal series. That's Javier Moreno of Spain, the chair umpire. The thing is, though, that Gabby's tended to win when she's been playing aggressive tennis, and this is not the surface that generally allows for aggressive tennis.
That's right. The only way I can see her really hurting Steffi is by getting a lot of balls back, grinding and making Steffi miss, and hoping that Steffi is not returning the serve well and not serving well herself. So that's a lot really to hope for. But Gabriela Sabatini is obviously a champion of the past and is still playing very good tennis right now, and I'm sure she'll try her best out here today against the formidable opponent of Steffi Graf.
Yes, because she's been off the boil, if you could say, for about 4 years. She hit that peak when she won the US Open in September 1990, and then got to the final of Wimbledon in 91 and looked really good. But although she hasn't done anything major since then, she's always been around the top 8. And
well, that's right. She's been around for a long time. She's been playing since on the Pro Tour for, I think, probably close to 10 years now.
10 years now, yeah.
So, I mean, here's a player who's been in this situation many times, so this won't be a surprise for her. She won't be nervous. She'll be ready to play, and I'm looking forward to a good match.
And indeed, they know each other's games extremely well. Steffi to start the match. Well, there's the forehand that Sabatini's got to steer clear of. Very much a defensive backhand, but the Steffi eats those for breakfast.
Well, I think this is the type of points we'll be seeing today. Good, strong serves by Steffi, opening up the court and really pounding, as you said, the big forehand into the open spots in the court.
Yes, Sabatini really has got to get her returns of serve a lot deeper than that.
Steffi's serve is very difficult to read. She has a really good shoulder turn, and she's able to generate a lot of pace down the middle, and also has a really good wide serve, so it is difficult to get a hold of sometimes.
Mademoiselle Graf.
Yeah, just at the end there, we saw the very wristy backhand from Sabatini. She's got this wonderful backhand. It looks like she's going to dislocate her shoulder every time she plays it, but it's when that gets going, that's an effective shot.
It is. It's probably the best one-handed backhand in women's tennis, and it has been for a long time. It's been her real weapon. It is hard to read. She can generate a lot of pace cross-court, and she can also, probably her better backhand is the one where she really hits it well down the line, and it's hard to see which way she's going to hit it. But I think against Steffi's slice, it's going to be very difficult because the Steffi slice is so hard and it has so much pace on it, and it stays so low that it's really difficult to get under that with a topspin backhand. So we might see a lot of slicing from Gabby today.
Why is it that so few women have the single-handed aggressive backhand these days? I mean, there's still a certain balance among the men. About 40% of the men have the one-hander and 60% the two-hander, about that. But it's more like 90 and 10 in the women. Why is that?
Well, I think that when you're younger and you're developing your game, women just aren't as strong as men are, so I think that they tend to put the other hand on it to get some generate some pace on their two-hander. So you'll see a lot of the one-handed type of players develop a little bit later because they become stronger and they're able to hit it. So I think with the women it just tends to happen like that.
Sabatini, love one, first set.
Again, you're seeing Steffi really generating a lot of pace into the corner. That ball is so difficult to dig out of this clay court.
Yes, we tend to think of her slice backhand as a bit of a defensive shot, but she uses it very penetratingly.
Well, knowing that the pressure that Steffi is going to put on this second serve today, that often makes you double fault because you're a little bit nervous on how the ball's going to come back. So we may see a few double faults here if Steffi starts returning well.
Yes, I think the serve is the most disappointing aspect of Sabatini's game. Over 10 years, that her serve hasn't improved more than this.
And again, just way too short for the Graf forehand.
Yes, when she worked with Dennis Ralston, he shortened the throw up, and it got better a bit, but maybe not better, just more efficient. A lot of effort goes into a serve for very little result. Two double faults.
And then it's not the way Gabriela Sabatini wants to start this match today, serving two double faults in the first service game. It's going to put her under a lot of pressure.
And she's under enough as it is. Graf, 2-love, first set. There's that backhand. And that was a very well played point by Graf.
Yes, an excellent point here by both girls. This is a really deep backhand again, and Gabriela Sabatini just teeing off on the backhand down the line, and what a great shot it was.
When you see that, you wonder why she's not at least in the top 5. That was a real backhand war of attrition.
Well, again, Gabriela Sabatini's best backhand is her one down the line, but the problem is it goes straight to the Graf forehand, and what an unbelievable forehand that was. That is just pure strength.
And she stepped into it, met it so well.
Well, electing to slice this backhand down the line. Graf expecting this one to go back cross court and was wrong-footed. Beautiful backhand. Well, she nearly got caught there. I think she wanted to let it bounce and then realized that Gabriela Sabatini was closing into the net and going to get back into the court.
Would Sabatini have been better going cross-court then?
Probably. I think she struggled to get to the ball. That was the problem, and elected to go down the line and probably should have hit it back cross-court to get herself back into the court.
I suppose if you're going to play to the forehand of Graf, it's got to be deep. And that, of course, reduces the margin for error. I mean, she's going to put one or two deep over the baseline. Point for 3-love for the number 2 seed. Good serving.
Juan Nunez on the right of your screen, Gabriela Sabatini's coach, and on the left was her brother. What's his name?
I don't know.
I've forgotten.
I know the perfume, but I don't know the name of the brother. Graf, 3-love, first set. Remembered the name of Sabatini's brother? It is?
Osvaldo Jr.
Osvaldo Jr. Yes. Quick memory loss there, though her brother will be the last thing that's on her mind at the moment. Sabatini serves love 3, first set.
Well, I would like to see Gabriela Sabatini coming into the net a little more. I don't think she's going to beat Steffi Graf from the baseline today. Steffi looks in good form. She's stepping in. She's being aggressive. And the only way to make her rhythm mix up a little is to come into the net, put some pressure on her.
Yes, and it's worth remembering that Sabatini can play a very good net game. She's got good strokes. I think her problem is getting to the net, and has been ever since she lost the momentum of that 1991 surge of form.
That is commonly known as the $1 million forehand. That is an unbelievable forehand down the line, just so powerful. Takes the ball early. The serve was very short, but Steffi generated so much power on that forehand.
Yeah, it's not entirely happy with the call, or lack of call.
I think that ball landed on the line and it jumped up on her. So 30-all. Gabriela Sabatini trying to get onto the board here.
Not that we're in the habit of looking up girls' skirts, but I happened to notice that there's a slight strapping on the upper thigh of Steffi's left leg. Not aware that there's an injury. That may be just a slight precaution. I think most players carry a few injuries.
Sometimes you can sustain a little strain in practice or the day before, and you just want to tape it up just to make sure that it feels a little firmer and everything's okay. It's obviously moving excellent, so I don't think it's hampering her movement at all.
No, I think it's almost, what's the phrase I heard in America, it's almost like a comfort blanket. You just have it for additional support, and she's certainly playing extremely well. Sabatini has not done anything special, but she's also not exactly having a bad game. Steffi has not let her play yet. 4-love, first set. There earlier in that rally we saw the Steffi rolled backhand, which she always uses when she has a target at the net. Whenever someone attacks to her backhand side, she plays it then, but seldom uses it in the course of a baseline rally. Such a typical Graf point.
Again, just opening the court up with a big kick serve out wide, just waiting for Sabatini to commit to one side and casually putting into the open court.
How many times did we see that during 1988 when she won everything that was going?
Again, taking the ball early, calmly putting it into the open court and coming in behind it. That's what I like to see. That's good. Attacking tennis here from Graf. Sabatini really feeling the pressure, really feeling like she needs to do something on the return. Unfortunately, she's making a lot of unforced errors as well.
First double for Steffi.
Well, an unusual forehand drop shot in the middle of the court there. She was a long way behind the baseline, but Gabriela Sabatini, a great athlete, and able to put that down the line and then the easy backhand put away.
Yes, it's what she did with it when she got there. That's the real battle. 4-love deuce.
Avantage, Mademoiselle Graf. Mademoiselle Graf.
Well, that goes down as an unforced error, but it's understandable when she's got to do so much on any ball that allows her to make something of it. Graf, 5-love up, a really impressive start to this quarter-final. That's a grim scoreline for Sabatini. Number of people still not quite in their seats. People drifting in all the time. Sabatini, love 5, first set.
Well, it may be 5-love, but I can assure you Steffi Graf is not going to take any breathers here. She has played Gabriela Sabatini so many times, and she has lost to her 11 times. She is not about to let up here. And she has lost many matches where she's won the first set against her 6-love or 6-1. So she's, I'm sure, looking to get this game and then get on to a good start in the second set.
Yes, Sabatini's a notoriously slow starter. Remember at the US Open last year when she played Arantxa Sanchez in the semi-finals that she was hardly in the first set and yet won the second on the tiebreak. And there was a bit of a battle in the final set, which Sanchez eventually won.
Steffi, on the other hand, is generally a quick starter, likes to get out, warms up well, and comes out and really fires away in the first couple of games, so that can kind of put some people on the back foot immediately.
Just a shade long.
Well, a little more aggressive on the baseline there from Sabatini, really going for that backhand down the line and forcing Graf to have to come back and hit a good forehand, but she missed it.
That's a great backhand.
It really is a beautiful shot. I mean, it's so nice to watch, and I'm sure for her it feels great to hit.
Every time I watch Sabatini, I think just how much better she could be if only she could just string together this immense talent that we've known for the last 10 years that she has. And finally able to open her account.
And a good serve down the middle there. Caught Graf unawares, and she's on the board, 5-1.
Yes, nobody likes a whitewash set. Graf 5-1 per set.
Well, it's always important, even though you are down 5-love, you're pretty much counting yourself out of the set, unless you're Chanda Ribbon, of course. But you want to try and get some games under your belt. You want to try and start playing well so you can start the second set off well. So I'm sure that's on her mind, trying to get into this match.
Will she allow herself to think of the second set before the first is finished?
Well, you really can't avoid it. It's something that kind of sticks in your head, even though, you know, it's 5-love and you want to just start trying to play well. You want to try and start putting a little pressure on your opponent, because it is, when you do win a first set 6-love or 6-1 or quite easily against an opponent who you respect incredibly, like Sabatini, you yourself want to get the set over and done with and start the second set off well yourself. You don't want to have a couple of loose games and then start the second set off badly.
I'm sure all club players will be reassured to hear that, because I think there's a feeling among the public parks and club elite that the professionals are somehow superior in terms of their concentration, but I suppose everybody's concentration will wander and you'll think further ahead than you should.
Well, you do get your different levels of concentration, and you're seeing probably one of the best out here serving right now. Steffi has a great ability to concentrate through some good matches and some close matches.
Yes, I suspect history will judge her very favourably in that respect. Hasn't quite won this set yet, though. 5-1, 30 all. Sabatini maybe just seeing a bit of light at the end of the tunnel. Sabatini not happy with the call. I think she thought that the heavy backspin would bring that ball down. It's very difficult to find a mark when you're this far into a set, certainly on the baseline, where there are lots of marks.
The umpire scored the score, so she must go back now and play. He's obviously decided that he's seen it well out.
Set point for Steffi Graf. Oh, well played.
Well, knowing that this is set point, and she obviously wants to try and stay in this set and get herself into the match a little more, really aggressive on this forehand down the line. The one before that set it up, really. She hit a great forehand cross court really deep and went for the one down the line. Great shot, so deuce again.
Interesting, there's extra bite in the Sabatini ground strokes then.
Avantage.
She got good depth on them.
Mademoiselle Sabatini.
She was, I think, following through slightly better.
Well, she's obviously feeling a little more comfortable, stepping in, knowing she has to be aggressive and knowing she has to work. If you want to beat Steffi Graf, you've really got to get out there and you've got to earn it. So a break point opportunity.
Oh dear.
Égalité.
Well, we were saying that Graf's serve is not easy to return, but that has to go down as an unforced error. Good deep serve nonetheless.
Yeah, she didn't prepare for that forehand return very well, and it floated wide, so deuce. Or égalité.
Égalité.
Thank you. Well, again, aggressive return. I'd like to see this more from Sabatini, really stepping up and going for the return. That one hit the net cord and jumped up on Graf, and she rushed that topspin backhand. So another break opportunity here for 5-2.
Oh. The drive volley.
Égalité.
Very little margin for error, but when you connect, my goodness, that must feel good. It is such a classic stroke. Not strictly textbook, though I don't know what is textbook these days, when you have people like Beresategi playing, but that is such an effective forehand. And her trademark. Set point number 2.
Égalité.
Well, a very typical game here between these two. They're really fighting it out, making good, aggressive, deep ground strokes, and Steffi just overhitting that forehand. So we're at deuce again.
That is a very, very useful serve.
Mademoiselle Graf.
It's not just the power. She can hit 160 kilometers easily enough. It's the placement. Credit to Sabatini. She's keeping those shots deep.
Well, I would say that was good scrambling there from Sabatini, really running down a lot of deep, well-struck balls from Graf and making her hit an extra ball here and there. And that's really what you have to do if you want to beat her. You've got to grind.
Égalité again. We learn all the French expressions during this fortnight. One of the few tournaments where the scores aren't given in English as well as in the local language.
Avantage, Mademoiselle Graf.
Set point number 4.
Jeu premier match, Mademoiselle Graf. 6-1. Ball neuf, s'il vous plaît.
Well, she struggled in that last game a little bit, but that I think was as much because Sabatini lifted the level of her play. But a very, very good set for Steffi Graf. 6-1.
A really good kick serve there. That just jumped way up, and Sabatini could not control that return. So, you know, we're seeing basically the dominance of Graf on the serve, and that's really where she takes the advantage over Sabatini.
So Sabatini needs to become just a little bit more aggressive. Maybe carry on the form that she found in that last game. And to suspect keep Graf at the back of the court and use any advantage she can to get in. Pretty low first serve percentage from Sabatini.
That's what I was talking about. 74% of first serves in. That's amazing. That's a really good stat for Steffi Graf, and a really low one for Gabriela Sabatini. That's something you cannot do on Steffi Graf. She will take advantage of every second serve.
Exactly half in percentage terms. Sabatini starting the second set.
I feel it's incredibly important for Gabriela Sabatini to get off to a good start in this game. And that's not the way to do it.
No, it isn't. Well, she got the attack there, one of her first opportunities to get in. Nice slice backhand, very deep.
Well, it was the right play. She came in, unfortunately just took her eye off. I think she tried to hit a drop volley on this backhand, and it was not the right shot to hit. She has great hands and great touch, but that was not the right shot to hit on that one. So Graf off to a good start again in this set.
Yeah, Sabatini can count her lucky stars on that one. She was well beaten.
Good to see Steffi still going for the second serve, because that will put tremendous pressure on Sabatini's second serve. Every time she serves now, she's going to be thinking this Graf is going to go for that return of serve. Just like she stands up to the serve and she's thinking that Steffi's going to really make me pay if I make this short. She's not thinking about her serve. She's thinking too much about where it has to go, and and obviously making double faults.
Yes. At least she was attacking. I mean, let's say that for her. The slice backhand approach shot, but then the rolled backhand from Steffi.
It was a forehand, actually, inside out.
Was it?
This was way too short. I mean,
yes,
you cannot hit anything that short on Graf and come in. That's a type of shot that she would normally whip down the line, but Gabriela Sabatini, as you'll see, was moving to her right here, expecting that to go, and then just caught off guard, and a really calm forehand into the open court there from Graf.
What is it about Sabatini that means that she just doesn't have the confidence to go to the net the way she did 3 or 4 years ago?
Well, it is a little more difficult on clay because of the fact that it's a lot slower and you really have to generate a good approach shot. But I think I would like to see her come into the net more and more, because I just feel that
Comes on
she's...
quicker surfaces as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, because I just think she gets too complacent on the baseline, really rallying and hitting the topspin back and hitting the topspin forehand. She has every shot in the book, and I just don't see her use it enough. And unfortunately, it's really hurt her in the last couple of years because she hasn't taken advantage of it.
And there's the psychological memory of what happened here 2 years ago when she led Fernandez 6-1, 5-1, 40-30 and lost 10-8 final set. Graf, 1-love, second set.
Well, it seems funny that Steffi's struggling a little more on her serve than she is on the Sabatini serve, because she's basically getting a short ball from the start, whereas on her serve, Gabby gets the return reasonably deep and is able to start the rally off. So maybe she should elect to make Steffi serve the whole match out.
I think that's quite allowed.
Well, that was too short. The Graf forehand, when it's on, it's a great shot.
There's two people operating the scoreboard, collecting statistics, which help us feed information to you, the viewer.
Just wide.
Yes, I thought that forehand of Sabatini's might have been a bit long. I thought I heard a call, but I suspect it was probably a grunt from somebody.
15-30.
No movement from the line judge's arm.
Well, this is a big game. You know, Steffi wants to stay on top. She wants to keep serving well and winning her service games. And obviously a huge game for Sabatini here to get back into this match and feel like Steffi's not running away with this.
Yes.
Well, she's very confident on the forehand today, and that's not a good sign for Sabatini.
Yes, that one was called. Steffi is looking very sharp, sharper than she's looked in her first 4 matches to date.
Well, I think when you come out against somebody that's beaten you a number of times, you obviously come out very focused, and she looks incredibly focused today. She has incredible respect for Sabatini, and I'm sure Sabatini for Graf. So, you know, this match is not over. Cellular phones ringing, waiting for.
Associate that with the US Open, not the French Open. Well, it's a more aggressive Sabatini in this set. Makes you wonder why she didn't start it right from the beginning, but I suppose you do have to change your tactics sometimes. Deuce.
And again, on a big situation on her service game, she's able to pull out the big serve, and that's, you know, that's such a help when you know that on a big point you can pull out a big serve, and Sabatini, you know, it's at that situation may get a little tight and put in a double fault, and it's such an advantage.
Graf's second point for 2-love. What a great lob. What a wonderful lob. And I know we shouldn't maybe look too far ahead, but this match has a long way to go. But the draw has Graf due to play Conchita Martinez in the semi-finals if Martinez beats Virginia Ruana Pascual later today. And the way Martinez has been playing, I've been a bit concerned that Graf hasn't been in sufficient form. But if she's lifting her form at this stage, I'm getting rather excited about that possible semi-final. Sabatini love 2, second set.
Yes, and thus far this year, Conchita Martinez undefeated on clay, and Steffi Graf undefeated.
On anything, yeah. She hasn't dropped a set this year. Steffi.
You know, people say that slice backhand is a defensive shot, but I'm telling you, that shot right there is Graf. You know, she sets the point up with it. She waits for the short ball, and you look how many times she sets the point up with that and then waits for the forehand and wins the point. That backhand sets up her points.
And there's the hit through backhand, and it was a backhand on that occasion.
0-30.
Yeah, she took this backhand early, stepped in and made no mistake, making it right down to the feet of Sabatini and unable to do anything but try and scramble that back into the court.
It is such a good backhand, the Graf rolled backhand.
When she hits it.
When she hits it. This was the big problem with her old coach Pavel Slozil, who kept trying to get her to use it more often.
That's right. It's a shot that Heinz Guntard has worked extremely hard with Steffi with, and I know he takes pride in.
But I think he's also happy for her to slice away and use it only when she's happiest, and I think that's the difference between him and Slozil.
That's right. Well, I think that Steffi's comfortable with it now. She knows that she can hit it at the times that she needs to, and she slices and sets the point up, so she really doesn't need to do any more.
It was always terribly important when she played Martina Navratilova because she so often had the target at the net.
And did you see that was an ace?
That was a very impressive ace from Sabatini. Yes, we're not ignoring Sabatini's serves. It's just very easy to think of Graf in the next round. No, she's overdone it.
Well, you know, when you serve, you're supposed to have the advantage. You're supposed to start the point off the way you want to. But, you know, all I'm seeing today is Gabriela Sabatini making the serve and Steffi being the dominator from the first shot. So it's not a position you want to be in. You're always on the defense.
Break point again. Point for a 3-love lead for Graf. No, she's overdone it again. Sabatini regularly hitting that spot about 10 centimeters beyond the baseline. And it is all Graf at the moment. She leads 3-love, second set.
Well, this is a beautiful backhand, but unfortunately she pulled out of that one and really forced it too deep. So she's feeling the pressure. She really knows she has to come up with some great shots. So 6-1, 3-love. But I guarantee you Steffi Graf is not going to stop playing here. She needs to stay aggressive. She knows that Gabriela Sabatini has come back many times against her in the past.
I've seen Steffi let up at about 2 points before the end of a match. She'll suddenly come into the net when you never expect her to, but never with as much as 3 games to go. 3-love, second set.
Yeah, she has this knack of serving and bowling on match points. One time that she...
Looks impressive. Good to know that she can do it. Even Monica Seles, the most unlikely server and volley, used to come in occasionally after a serve just to show this she could do it.
When Sabatini is running out to that forehand, she knows that there's an amazing amount of pressure, because if she doesn't hit a good deep shot back, Graf is just going to have the whole court open with the forehand. So it's a lot of pressure on her to make a good forehand on that shot. So she's making a few errors on that one.
That was a good return of serve from Sabatini. Big smile on her face then.
Well, she rushed that forehand.
Yeah, she knew it. Hits a wonderful forehand immediately beforehand, opened up the court. Oh, yes.
Well, a very difficult overhead in the middle of the court, extremely high, making a good overhead, and then just coming up with a great forehand here. This was a short backhand slice, and Steffi making no mistake with the forehand into the open court. Great shot. And she's pumping the fist. She is focused today.
40-30 point for Forlove. And this is becoming a bit of a nightmare for Sabatini. She hasn't played too badly. There's the overhead. Steffi, I just wondered if she was hesitating on that one. I think
it was quite a high overhead, so they're sometimes very difficult to judge. So I think she did the right thing by making a solid one down the middle of the court rather than going for an angle.
Sabatini, love 4.
And there it is again, that short serve to the forehand of Graf, and Steffi making no mistake with it. Takes it early and nails it down the line.
Just trying to work out the biggest margin of victory of Graf against. There's a 6-3, 6-love at the Australian Open in '89.
They've had a lot of 3-setters in the past.
They have. There's a 6-love 6-2 at the 1993 Lipton Championships in Key Biscayne.
Oh, right on the baseline. Skidded through, and Sabatini unable to do anything but really try and fight that back into the court, and it hit the tape.
It's worth pointing out that Sabatini hasn't beaten Graf for over 3 years. Her last victory was at the Boschen Lom at Amelia Island.
Yep. And that was again a 3-setter.
That was early '92. Steffi has won the last 6 meetings.
Mademoiselle Graf.
Well, double fault is the last thing that Sabatini needed at that point.
But as I said, you know, she's had so much pressure put on her by the Graf return that she's constantly thinking she has to do something with the serve, and she's not thinking about what she's trying to do. You know, it's like a mind game when you're hitting a good return often off the serve. It puts a lot of pressure on your second serve, and it's showing today from Sabatini.
There's our reverse angle, making Sabatini into a left-hander. Let's just presume one or two things: that Graf will win this match, which is fairly safe at this stage, and that Conchita Martinez will go on to beat Virginia Ruano. How do you see the semi-final? Graf against Martinez.
Wow, that's all I'm going to say. I think it's going to be a good match. I think both of them are playing some incredible tennis. Steffi obviously hasn't had as many matches as she would have liked this year due to a few injuries and an illness in not being able to play in Berlin. And Conchita Martinez has changed coaches, and she's working with Carlos Kielmeier, and her confidence is sky high. You know, I mean, I'm just so looking forward to watching that match. It's going to be a great semi-final. And
will Steffi have to go to the net a bit more often?
No, I don't think so. I think she probably will, but no, I don't think so. I think she's able to, if she's able to step up and really be incredibly aggressive with the Martinez backhand and forcing her off the court on the forehand. I don't know. I see a real great match.
Graf, 5-love, serving for a place in the semi-finals.
Well, maybe a little cute with that backhand. 6-1 5-love. I suppose if you're ever going to do it, it's not the worst time. Although I know how much of a perfectionist she is, and she's probably thinking she shouldn't have done that right now.
Doesn't look happy about it, does she?
And there it is again, the dominance of the serve. I mean, that's just an amazing serve out to the backhand. You're really only able to get your racket onto it and put it in the court, and Steffi makes no mistake with easy shots like that.
She really has served tremendously well today, better than any of the matches she's played at the 1995 French Open so far.
35.
This looks like being Sabatini's worst defeat against Graf, unless she can pull at least one game back. And she doesn't look like pulling at least one game back at the moment.
Well, again, the serve setting up the point. And basically, when Steffi has a forehand like that, you've just got to guess which side, and she seems to be guessing the wrong side too many times today.
55 minutes on the clock. 6-1, 5-love, 40-15. 2 match points to Steffi Graf. There it is. The forehand does it, but as much down to her all-round game. The serve in particular, forehand, and some great length on the slice. Renee?
Absolutely. This was pretty much as perfect as she would ever have liked to have played today. The serve was excellent, the forehand was incredible, and you know, the backhand is solid as ever and moving well. Obviously no problems with any back problems, nothing. She looks good. I'm really looking forward to this match with Martinez, if it's going to happen.
Well, that would be the semi-final. Martinez to play Virginia Ruano Pascual later today. But at the moment, Graf, she's come off a 6-week break. This is only her 5th match, but looking good.
That's right. I mean, there's not too many players that can come off a 6-week break like she can, and she's done it, and she's undefeated for the year, and I'm sure she's incredibly confident right now and very happy to be through this match.
22 out of 22, 44 sets won. Steffi Graf into the semi-finals of the 1995 French Open.